Hey all, J-Town here. In addition to what gear goes on what character, I've seen a lot of questions being asked about what stats can be on what pieces of gear. So this is going to be an in-depth but basic primer to your gear and artifacts, where they go, what stats can be on which, and how high they can be based on quality and star level. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so on our hero page, hit the equipment tab. You all should be familiar with this. Now, we're not talking about the sets of gear today, the set bonuses on them whatsoever. Today, we're just talking about the quality, the stats, and which stats can go on which artifact. Now, you've probably seen the various colors in gear and also the star level, and you're trying to say, okay, well, how do I know which is the best piece? Well, by default, if you have a lot of pieces in the same set, the gear will prioritize them based on quality. Stars are always the highest, followed by the color. Now, what's the difference? The stars are the actual quality of the values that can be on a piece. 6 stars just means this will be the maximum amount it can be, and any rolls that you get on there will be at their maximum amount they can be. Legend, epic, elite, rare, and common. Basically, the color will determine the amount of stats that the piece begins with. So any legendary pieces begin with all 4 stats filled in. You know exactly what substats it's going to have. The main stat on these top 4 pieces here will always be the same. Rings will always have HP. Your boots will always have speed. Your chest armor will always have defense. And your weapon will always have attack. Those will be those values regardless. And you can compare to see, okay, a chest is 720 at base and 600 at base here. That's based on the star quality. See, there is a chest piece in elite blue, a 5-star with defensive 600 as a base, and then epic, the same 600 as a base. Because the color, the rarity, only determines the number of substats it starts with. The stars indicate the quality. And that is the values of those stats that will be on that piece of gear. So you always want to go to 6-star first, and then as high a rarity as you can get so you know what stats you've got. The reason you want to go with that is because when you roll a piece of gear, you enhance it. Every few levels, one of these has a chance to go up, just like this. You see, once we passed into that level 4, it got a +1 on one of these rolls. It's completely random which one it will be. Now, if you have a piece that is lesser quality, with only 3 substats, once you've gotten 3 rolls into some of these stats, that 4th random increase that happens at max will go into this last stat. So you can't get 4 rolls into speed, you can only get 3 or into crit damage. Now, to further display this, let's go find a lower quality piece. This has 2 stats on it. We'll go in and enhance that. Alright, so the first one went into HP percent. Now at level 8, we should get another. It went into defense rate. Now the next upgrade will be the 3rd. Because substat slot 3 is open, that is where that will be. We have no idea what it will be. We got effect res. Now, if we were to continue to level this piece of gear, the 4th upgrade will be in the 4th slot. So if you've got, say for example, speed and crit damage as your first 2, you can only get a maximum of 2 rolls into that stat. If 3 and 4 are open, they will absorb the 3rd and 4th attribute boost or roll. So you want to get a high star quality as you can, and then epic or legendary quality so you have the most chances to go into the stats that you want. You can get a 6-star blue, it's got 2 stats that you want for that specific hero, but then you can only get 2 rolls before 3 and 4 fill in. If you were trying to get a max roll of everything into defense rate on this piece, you could not. So remember, stars equal the quality. The rarity or color determines how many substats it starts with. Now, when we get down into the artifacts, some people will refer to these as the A1, A3, and A5 artifacts, otherwise known as the class, mark, and faction artifacts within their own specific dungeons. The A1 artifact or class artifact can roll with defense, mastery, attack, crit damage, and crit rate. Those are your options for stats as a main stat that come on that first artifact. After that, the substats will follow the same rules as all the other pieces. Now on your A3 or Mark artifact, you can have Effect Resist, Flat HP, Flat Defense, Effect Hit, or Healing Effect. This artifact slot will always have one of those as the main stat, followed by the same rules of substats as all gear follows. And then in your faction artifact, and the stats in this slot can either be Speed, Defense, Attack, or HP. Now this slot should always be Speed, unless for some reason you have a very slow, specifically tuned Go Second type of team that needs more defense or HP. And once again, the substat rules are the same across all pieces of gear. The color or rarity determines the number of substats it starts with. The star quality determines the value of not only the main stat, but of the substats that it will be on it. Now, what kind of numbers can you expect at some of those higher quality rolls? Well, let's go compare. All right, so here we have a plus 16 speed faction artifact. 216 is the maximum value for that. Now, just to show you how powerful the difference in the stats are, here's a 4-star damaging class artifact. It has 1 roll into HP already, with 6.3% being upgraded once. Now, in a 6-star, HP was upgraded 3 times and is at 25.2. So roughly 3.15% for every tier of the HP rate on a 4-star, and then just over a 5% per tier as it had the base and then 3 upgrades. You can see that it really increases. It's over 2% more per tier of the HP rate. So the values you'll get at a maxed out 6-star piece are a lot higher than the values you'll get at a 4-star piece, and even lower. You always want to go for the highest quality you can to get the most amount. Now, when you're enhancing that gear, the cost will go up the higher you get towards level 16. So you want to make sure if you're going to go past level 12 that it's a really, really good piece. Otherwise, just hold out, get something higher quality. You can see those costs just going up and up and up exponentially. So after every tier you go up, make sure you're still getting the value that you want out of that piece. And there's no shame in abandoning it. Every piece of gear is a crapshoot. You may get a 6-star legendary piece, but the stats on it could be terrible, and the rolls could be even worse. Alright, I hope that makes it clear the basics of gear and artifacts, what stats can be where, and the quality of stats you can get based on the star level and rarity of said gear. Alright y'all, I've been J-Town, and I will see you in game.
Infinite Magic Raid. Play to slay.